So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and this morning we're very privileged to have an amazing panel of our Mannatech community. Now, I'll just give you a little bit of background on the topic today. You know, all of our journey with Mannatech is unique, but it's also interconnected, and we're woven together, sort of like linking arms. I always see it. It's a really important message we have, and the mission on is multi-layered, and it can bless so many people. So whether you're drawn to this great company for a new career to implement the amazing ACE Mannan or nutritional glycans into your wellness regime, or your passion to give back as the driver for you, like I said, we link arms and we're all one great community. Back in the early 1990s, a scientist studying the active agent in aloe vera knew he'd made a groundbreaking discovery. His findings concluded that the gel in the aloe plant, revered for centuries for its health and beauty benefits, contained the long-chain polysaccharide mannose. Widely recognized as a pioneer in glyconutrition, Mannatech launched its flagship multi-glycan product, Ambertose, in 1995. And since the beginning, Mannatech chose a direct selling model to bring our products to more people. Our associates love what they do, proud of what we have. Our business model is built on connecting, sharing, building close relationships, and assisting people with achieving their goals. It's a key to living healthy and a fulfilled life. In addition, with the goal of ending childhood malnutrition, Mannatech's partnership with the M5M Foundation helps children around the world receive proper nutritional support. In 2018, they formed a partnership with Kids Around the World and their One Meal program. This paved the way for feeding and nourishing children in many continents. Every $100 spent on a Mannatech product, a 1-month supply of PhytoBlend powder is donated to help nourish a child in need. And the social entrepreneurial aspect of Mannatech is built in. It's before profit. We're a flagship in that area, and we've been doing that for more than 2 decades now. So I'm very proud to partner with Mannatech and also to link arms with everybody that is here today. So I wonder, does anybody have a need to go in regards to time? Does anybody who's volunteered to speak today would like to go first? No? Dana, do you want to go? You're muted, darling.
I'll go first. Thank you, Sharon. Welcome, everyone. Well, I was giving some thought to this morning. I think my why has been an evolution with Mannatech. Definitely my why initially was for my health. And as many of you know, I'd had a long-term health challenge and I had extraordinary results with the product, and obviously that turned my head. So my why for being connected with Mannatech was to partake of their high technology effective products that not only had I experienced it for myself, but very early I shared it with friends and was seeing the results for them. And so that why remains in my heart for the 25 or 26 years that I've now been involved with the company. But then my why deepened in that I'd moved to regional Queensland, and very quickly it became obvious to me I wasn't going to be able to rely on the local environment for the income that I desired. And I had secured some contract work and then a permanent part-time job, and someone who always dedicated to making a difference wherever I'm working, and turned their business systems around. And after about a 6-month period, the woman that I was working for basically pulled the rug on my job in quite an unethical way. And by this time, I'd started on Mannatech, had my health results, and was looking into the business. And it was sort of a defining moment for me, because that's the last time I'm putting all of who I am, my energy, my talents, my time 100% into somebody else's business. I'm going to reserve some of that for me. And so that became my why going forward for being active in the business. And it's like any business, you have to learn the necessary skills and dive into the education and support mechanisms that are there, which are extensive with Mannatech. So that's what I did, and build my business to what's now known as Gold Executive Director. and I just love what I do. So my why, so I guess the underpinning why of that is to be financially independent, that I'm not dependent on an employer for all of my income. And certainly during COVID, that lockdowns, that served me well, because I established probably about 4 streams of income prior to that, and 2 of those disappeared during COVID, but Mannatech just kept clicking through, in fact increased during that time. And it was another phase where it was very clear to me the benefits of a residual income that weren't dependent on going into an office or any particular location where I was working. But in addition to that, my whys have evolved, because as you connect with the community and the business and the industry, you get to see how marvelous it all is. And one of my biggest whys now for staying for such a long time with the company is the community. I'm sure you can all relate to that. We've got a community of people that are there, co-supportive to uplift each other to our success, whether it be with our health or with the business. And, when you have longevity, we've got a business team, and the core of that team have been there for a long time, many, many years now. And, we all look forward to connecting once a week for our business meeting and sharing in our successes, but sharing in, the evolution of our life together, connected in, with this center point of Mannatech. And of course, and then I've got a whole bunch of whys. Walking down the hallway to my office, I particularly enjoy that, not having to do, every time I go to the local city for me, which is Brisbane, I think, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I work from home. Just a reminder to keep dedicating myself to the mission. And also my why is about the contribution I can make into people's lives for their well-being. That, is some of the most deep rewards for me, hearing the results in people's lives or their families' lives. And then, of course, it's rounded out by the commitment to taking care of at-risk children around the world through our M5M, or I call it, M5M program, but Nourish Yourself, Nourish Your Child program is what I call it. So I think I'll round that out there, but that's the sort of evolution of my whys for being involved in Mannatech.
It's so similar to what about overnight, because it's changed. It evolves, isn't it? And it deepens. I think we can all go home now. Diana's covered it, hasn't it? So I'm just joking. All our stories are unique, but they'll be interwoven. There'll be a lot of commonalities and a lot of heart, as everybody will be seeing. So, Pam, did you want to go next? Just unmute yourself.
Okay. Well, I probably had a why before I even realised I had one, because when my son turned 9, I became a single parent. And that was a big why. So, and that was before Mannatech, way before Mannatech. So I was able to take in some sewing as a machinist. I could take in sewing, work into the long night hours and push myself, and then my health started to suffer. And that's when Mannatech came in. When someone shared that with me, even though it took me a while to grab hold of that, it made a huge difference, because then I could function and keep working. But that was my initial why, and then got my health back on track with Mannatech products. And that kind of shifted then, as everybody's why has probably over the years, to, I think, probably when my son got his mortgage for his home, and then realised with all the cost of living and everything going on at the moment, and the interest rates going up, that he would be 70 before he owned his home. And I thought, life's got to be worth more than that. I mean, that can't be what it's all about. Working your tail off until you're 70, owning your home, and then what do you do at 70? You should have been enjoying life the whole way through. And so that kind of shifted my why too, that how many people are out there now struggling in the same way. I mean, I've got friends that are going to retire with mortgage, and that's just existing. That is not living, in my opinion. And so that kind of shifted my thinking, certainly initially, to other single mums that could be struggling, that would need some help. I mean, this is a perfect business model, really, for someone like that, because you can, if you have another job and you're just existing, then this helps, with the extra money, the extra income every month. And sometimes it's just a couple of $100s a month short. That might be all it takes to just go from existing to enjoying life. So that's kind of shifted it for me. Yeah, and so that's kind of where I am now. Yeah, so it's shifted a lot over the years. So from being, a single mum, and kind of now my focus has gone back to single parents. There's a lot of single parents out there that would absolutely love this opportunity. So that's kind of where my why is now. And I mean, the M5N Foundation is just the icing on the cake. That's just a lovely gift that we can give them. So that's my why where I'm situated at the moment. So it's been a long journey, but yeah, a lot of shifts along the way.
Thank you, Pam. And imagine all the single parents that you could impact. Like it's endless potential.
Yeah.
You can see people being blessed. And Julie, did you want to go next?
I love listening to everybody's stories, but I don't like telling mine too much. So I hope I can tell mine in a way that might be of interest.
I know everybody should know how privileged we are to have Julie here speaking.
Well, I was 50 when Mannatech came across my path, and I'm a bit like Pam. Like I was looking for something, but I didn't know what I was looking for. But it was mainly around my health, because I've always liked to be healthy. My mum, I thank her many, many times for instilling that interest in me, and we had that shared interest, and it was my mum that brought me to a Mannatech meeting. And when Judy presented the glycans and what health is based on a cell level, it just all made sense to me. So I signed up, went on the Optimal Health products, and 18 years later, I'm still taking Optimal Health products. So, my why has always been stronger with the on a health level than the business level. But at the same time, as I became educated, and like Diana said, you learn along the way about the business model and learn some skills and the rest of it. And so then I thought, well, yes, I could build a business and, create an extra income stream for myself, which I did. At that time, like, I didn't have any responsibilities. The kids were both had left home. So I had more freedom to do something for myself, which I just love the thought of, at long last in my life, I've been running around for all those years, looking after other people, and here was my opportunity to do something for myself. So that was really exciting, and it was just a wonderful experience for me, doing personal development, meeting all these wonderful people that were Sharon, that you had on your conference call. That was my university. I used to plug in and get excited all over again whenever I hear one of the speakers speaking about these great products. And there was never a doubt in my mind, particularly after reading Undeniable Destiny, that yes, Mannatech, it's God's plan, and we're just all part of God's plan. So, I knew it was right for me. But then my husband became sick, and he died suddenly. So then that sort of knocked the wind out of my sails and set me back a bit for a while. So then I had to learn how to be run the farm and run the flock of sheep and do all the things that, Dennis used to do, and which I'm still doing now. And so I think my why now, my stronger why is still to have my income stream coming in, which there is a little trickle coming in every month, which I'm very grateful for. But it's really just to keep my health and strength and vitality up so that I can continue doing what I'm doing. So that would be my strongest why at this time in my life.
Yeah, it's anti-aging, isn't it?
Mm.
I know we can't make any claim like that, but nobody ever believes I'm 66, and that's 26 years of nutritional glycans.
Yeah.
It's
definitely. And like I know a lot of people are surprised what I do here, but it doesn't really surprise me. But people younger than me that live in the town here, they're in much less physical condition than what I'm in, and they can't do the things. Yeah, they're just not very active, strong people.
Yeah. No, you're an awesome inspiration, Julie.
So that's my little story. Thank you.
Yeah, Rachel's saying health is your first wealth. Absolutely, absolutely. And Trisha? You're muted still.
Morning, all. First of all, I'd really like to say thank you to Sharon, Diana, and Gary for this amazing resource, because it seriously is a gift from God to have what you guys put in. My story has changed quite dramatically. I was 57 when I joined, and I had always tried to be the healthiest I could be. When I was introduced to Mannatech products, I sort of thought they're just another version of what I was taking. But Mission 5 Million attracted me. Wherever I was getting my product from before, it didn't offer the benefit of passing it on to help other malnourished children. So that was my first why. And then I was, but prior to that, I had been a stay-at-home mum for 20 years. And then my marriage broke up, and then I was lucky to get back into science. And I worked for 20 years, but then pandemic came along and I was forced into retirement. So you can imagine at 66 or whatever it was, that I had to retire. There wasn't much super. The pension, I can tell you now, and from experience, I do share this story, is you can survive on it, but it ain't good. And if you haven't got a lot of super, and you still and maybe paying off your home. So that is my big why now. I share with and young and old. Many of them are only working part-time. So their super isn't going to be that healthy either. And lucky for me, I'm on the cusp of getting a pension, but in years to come, they're not even going to get a pension. It's just not sustainable. So now that's my big why. Anyone I talk to now, what's your super like? Young and old, because for the ones my age, they're going to be struggling. They're not going to have the lifestyle that they had while they were working. And for the younger ones who are only part-time, they're still not going to have enough at the end of their working life to sustain them in an economy that is flailing. Our health system is in a disarray. I think one doctor in Adelaide here said that our health system in South Australia is drastically constipated. So you're going to have to look after yourself. You're going to have to, and that's my message now to anyone I talk to. You really do have to, going to have to look after yourself, and this is a great business to do that. If you're part-time, then you've got lots of time to do it. And even so, and as someone else said, it doesn't have to be a great deal of money. It can be just your house payment, or so I mean, nutrition's. I'm very passionate about nutrition. I've looked after myself and tried to, and those around me. But now it's become, come on, guys, you're going to have to look after yourselves, and this is a great way to do it, both health-wise and financially.
What an awesome message, Tricia. And people are blindsided by it. And it's like our education is sort of skewed. And I'm sure there's lots of educators that try to get through to people, but I didn't really understand that either. And so true for parents, whichever parent has to, sort of prioritize raising children over a career, then you're left disadvantaged in our current, the way the system is in our society right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my yeah. I can't tell enough people now. You need to find something else, and even if it isn't what I'm doing, then you need to find something, because it's the system is not going to look after you in generations to come. No
Absolutely,
question.
absolutely. And I did try to find somebody that was in the younger generations, because we're all, I don't know if people here identify as being senior, but we're over 50, put it that way. So, you know, please know if you're watching this down the track or whatever, that we have a lot of young people in our community as well. And we're also missing the male aspect. And we have a lot of men in our business as well. Excuse me. Excuse me. But Gary, who partners with us every week, he just had to go off to an emergency for a neighbor, which again, as we discussed, that's how our community is. We link arms. So I'll just finish this morning with my why, and I can identify with everybody who's spoken. When I started, I was completely disabled and unable to work due to a chronic illness. I was an ICU nurse, and I only really was educated in Western medicine. And so when someone met me at a dinner party and told me about these nutrients and it might help me, I just thought they were sales freaks. And I was completely closed. And I just saw a message from Diana there. I was completely closed at that time. And luckily they were very gentle with me and just said, listen, you know, have a listen to this. If it makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, then there's no harm done. And so I listened to a cassette tape in my car in the hinterland of Pomona. And I can remember it to this day. And I can remember learning about the terrain theory. And I was not taught that in medicine, in nursing, that what we feed ourselves is the foundation of how healthy we are. And just so many dominoes started to fall on that revelation for me. I mean, it seems stupid, but I was indoctrinated into Western medicine, and Western medicine isn't the whole show. Even though I was an ICU nurse and we do well in critical care in medicine, it's just not the whole story. And we're doing people a disservice. That we're failing our society in modern medicine. So long story short, I recovered fully beyond where I'd ever been in health. I didn't realize that there's sort of this level of health and then there's peak health. And I really got to enjoy that. And for me, my why, money isn't really a driver for me, even though it should be probably, but helping people is. I feel like I landed on this earth to help people, and I had a duty of care to pass this message on. So the M5M Foundation is just an ethical boost, you know, like it just blends the whole package all together, sort of like a web of love, in the fact that our efforts, whether that's purchasing product and supporting your health or helping others do the same, benefits children before profit. And that's the very foundation of our mission. And so that to me, and you know, the ethics of working together in a community, I think we all have to contribute in our own areas of expertise, and that makes a wholesome community and a thriving community. And I think that we do well in that in Mannatech. So Dinah's just reminded me that Rachel and Chris are here, which out of sight, out of mind, me. Chris, did you want to come on camera? Here we are.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Chris.
Now you guys are lucky that I've got some clothes on. I did have PJs on, and then Sharon, I think, put me as a panelist because she knows I'm on just about the first customer every Saturday for nearly 25 years. Yeah, that's how long my journey has been with Mannatech for, and I absolutely love the team that put these calls on each week, and love all our family in Australia and around the world, because we are family. And and the difference with Mannatech is that everyone has a big heart and is there willing, and as Sharon said, is helping people and serving people. And another thing that, you know, sort of like with Sharon that I have in common, I worked in the health field for 5 decades as well. And there I was, a nurse at 49 and had a major health challenge and didn't look with good options and would have been drug dependent and on a disability pension at that at 49. And beautiful Carol Berryman took me to the first meeting because I was totally incapable of even driving to the first meeting. Wow. And here I am nearly 25 years later, you know, with my life transformed. I work mainly in intensive care and in all areas, babies, pediatrics, adults, and I saw the consequences of ill health. And because I worked in intensive care then, as things progressed in, they needed a lot of people with intensive cares out in the home environment, and I saw the consequences of family of having sick children, and that it just really broke my heart. And so, you know, I'm committed in helping people and guiding people with a better health journey, because I've seen the consequences of ill health. Now, because of the health background, one thing that I'm exceptionally proud of, the fact that, you know, with all our science and validation behind the products, and, you know, I'm very anal there, that, you know, sort of, and that it's great that they're natural and, you know, sort of the efficacy behind them. And I can always remember years ago when they did the study in the ambrotos and the cognitive development of middle-aged adults. Yeah. And yeah, because even I'm still going around, much of my days is all getting educated. I mean, I spent 8 hours at our local university just lately, yeah, on cardiovascular. And it's one thing I found really encouraging that day. I live in Adelaide, and how much study has been done, and they're actually reviewing what they're doing. So they are open-minded and they are passionate, and it is a good community. A big part that absolutely touches my life is the involvement with M5M, and I was adopted when I was born, so a lot of the children that we help are orphan children. I've supported orphanages, and one of the most beautiful times in my life when the team supported me when I went to Latvia and volunteered there for a few weeks, and I was able to take the manor bears over and St Ambrotos, and the kids were just so beautiful, and how we can just touch those lives. And now it's much simpler with the M5N program. You do your regular monthly order, and children are blessed. And there are so many children in need, because I've done other missions trips to Uganda and overseas, and there are people that are out there that are needing it. And on the other side, financially, we all have different challenges at different stages. I've been a single chick all my life, so been financially responsible for myself. And again, I had another injury and I had to give up nursing after 5 decades. I was still willing to go on. And I'm on the aged care pension, and it's sort of running things on a very fine line. So because people think, oh, you're retired, you know, sort of, no worries. Yeah, it's, you know, sort of, we all have to live within our fiscal means, but the aged care pension is not sufficient for people to live on and to have choice in life. Yeah. So I'm 72 years young. I plan being in this community actively for another 28 years. When I get to 100, I'll reevaluate then.
Yeah, I imagine how us all at 100. That's cool. So I'm not sure. I'm sure Rachel's on as a panelist, but I'm not sure if that's on purpose or by mistake. Rachel, did you want to jump on and share?
I'll stay behind the photo, but yes, it's just been incredible listening to the ladies, and it just makes me realise there's so many facets of Mannatech that can meet need in our lives, and as people have shared, that it does evolve throughout our lives, and I feel that, you know, when we're sharing Mannatech with others, that if we've shared it, there's a time for Mannatech in people's lives, be it health or wealth. requirements, and that we should always just check back with the people that we've mentioned it to, because our lives change, and we've just seen all of that here. And I think one thing that, you know, in the photo there, you can see my husband, Mike, and there's a big story around the products and in his life, and that's undergirds us. And sometimes I think we just keep taking the product and we forget that that's a powerful why. And as we build the business, that one thing that really drives me home is that this is a legacy company, and that whatever I build in my time, I can hand on. You know, Chris, when you get to the good old 100, I can hand that on in my will to my children. And so, you know, we all work jobs. If you're still in the 9 to 5 workplace, you're putting all that effort in there. And as soon as you stop working that week, you will not get income from that company that you've sown so much into. But sowing into this company, when you don't turn up for the next week, you've still got a residual income check coming in, and that can be handed on to the next generation in your family. And so that is a massive, powerful why for me. And, you know, because I love my children and I want to, you know, leave an inheritance for my children's children, which is biblical. And that's really important to me. So Mannatech covers that aspect for me as well. So, yeah, thanks, Sharon.
Thanks, Rachel. And God bless everybody. We'll finish. This is a good 30 minutes now for you to be able to share. If someone has shared this with you, please get back to them and ask lots of questions. You know, we're here to serve, and partnering with Mannatech will bless yours and everyone that you have potential to reach out to. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week with Albala, and have a wonderful weekend. Thanks all. Thanks for our guest speakers.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.